everybody? It's Kent Davis. Happy Friday. It is the second week of September. Thank you guys all for joining us, assuming I am currently live. I think I am. Never really know. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Always happy to answer any questions. Of course, we do this every Friday. We've also started to put these on YouTube so you can see some old Facebook Lives over on that channel. Actually, check out our YouTube, little commercial. Check out our YouTube channel. It's coming along very nicely. We probably have 40 videos now, and not just properties. We've got videos on the process of buying and selling real estate. We've got expat myths deconstructed. We've got cost of living information, how to rent a car, really everything that anyone might be wanting to know either before they get to Panama, while they're in Panama, or before they leave. Like how to sell your property fast. So anyway, thank you guys. Let's get started. Just me this week. Next week, tune in for the one and only Ted Tennis out of our Pedicee office. Ted and I are going to be talking all things Playa Venao. Man, I'm ready to get down to Playa Venao. That is such a beautiful spot. So next week, Ted will be joining us where we will talk properties and fishing and surfing and life in general in Venao, which is about 45 minutes from Pedicee heading south. Beautiful, idyllic spot. We sell a lot of real estate down there. But anyway, so what's new in Panama? Well, I'll tell you what's not new. What's getting really old is the quarantine. Still separated by gender until this Monday. Yeah. Would have been about 6 months, starting in around the middle of March here, that the government decided to do girls Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and boys Tuesday, Thursday. We just got allowed back our Saturdays a while ago. But the point is that next Monday, the 14th, is a big day for restrictions getting lifted. So you've got separation of the gender getting lifted. That means men and women can be out all day from 5 in the morning. You'll see me doing my morning walks again in El Cangrejo at 5, all the way up to 11 p.m. Ta-da! So that's going to be awesome. Salvoconducto is disappear. And the word on the street is that we will also have all of the sanitary fences between Panama City and Costa Rica, essentially, lifted. So free movement throughout the country, which is going to be awesome. Bad news is that Sundays are still closed to everybody until October 12th, right? Hey, I'm not writing these rules. I'm just trying to follow them. Sometimes I go sneaking out on Sundays with my kid, right, in the stroller. That's kind of like your get out of jail free card. I could probably rob a mini super. No, they're not open on Sundays anyway. So anyway, yeah, that's the 14th. And then the 28th of this month, restaurants open, malls really open, professional services, although I think malls technically have started to open already, although in the official degree it said malls. Professional services, so that's like everybody, accountants, lawyers, all of that. Although lawyers have also been allowed to go back to work previously. Local airlines, so you'll be able to fly domestically again, locally. And then parks and beaches on September 28th across the whole country. And then October 12th is the big one. That's when we get our Sundays back. That's when Tocumen Airport opens. That's when the hotels open, and that's when apparently it's okay to swim in pools. Like, again, whatever. I'm not complaining. No announcements yet on when the movie theaters come back, when the gyms are allowed to open, concerts, and even schools. Schools are all online, like a lot of the rest of the world, I understand. So that's the Panama update. I'll give you the Panama real estate update for Panama Equity, which is, you know, a little microcosm of the real estate market. I would say we are a, medium-sized company, although it was nice. Ruben pointed out in our sales meeting either this week or last that the total amount of transactions closed on the MLS was almost equivalent to what we closed in 1 month. So that's actually not good for either party because it was not a huge number. It was less than 20. But hey, this was a good week for us. We rented out 4 apartments. I know we've got 2 signings today, so we'll call it 6 apartments. Prices are definitely down on rental units, though. We rented an Allure D model, 134 meters, 2-bedroom. Allure is really nice. One of my favorite buildings, actually, looking out over Balboa Avenue, semi-furnished. There's like a couch and like it's, yeah. Let's just call it unfurnished, really. We were renting that out for about $1,500. Now it's at $1,100. So $400 difference. That's about 15%, right? If my math is right. No, that's more. 280 is 20. So yeah, more like 30%. 30% rental reduction on that particular property, and that's a good indicator. Again, Balboa Avenue, 2-bedroom, nice building, pool, all that good stuff. So rent prices have definitely come down. Property prices to an extent have come down. But man, I mean, we're still closing deals. Again, this week we signed on a house in Chame. Used to be about $1 million. We sold it for $600. That was a nice deal. Both sides very happy. Gracias a Dios. It was a very, there was some owner financing involved. Some parties that were not overseas but weren't able to travel to handle their banking. Anyway, deals are getting done, guys. Also signed a deal in Dos Mares for a house. Appraised value $500. We sold it for $360. So, that one had been on the market, older house. I'm not trying to brag. I'm just trying to give you guys some data points more than anything because, as we all know, that's hard to do in Panama is find good information. Let's see here. Man, middle income still rocking. I mean, any kind of rentals between, say, $700 and $1,000 a month, if they look good, if they show well, they're getting the calls, and those deals are getting closed. So if you're looking at an investment geared property, definitely want to, keep it under $250,000. If you need to spend more, maybe you're going to be using it personally or you just have any other reason. But other than that, if you're just a pure investor, there's no need to spend more than that on a condo because the returns end up being, diminishing returns, right? The more you spend doesn't necessarily mean the more you'll be able to rent it out for. Actually, we've published a couple articles. If you check out Panama Equity, I did a big long one last week about the market, specifically the middle income market, which has been interesting and I think gonna be interesting as people cinch up their belts. So last thing today, we'll do short and sweet. I don't know if anybody's watching. Feel free to check in, say hi, ask questions. But I wanted to break down some things that we do for our clients and what you can do, in theory, even on your own, of how to find a good deal in Panama, how to find just really take advantage of what is a soft market. So first of all, you want to be looking for a while. That way you know it's a good deal, right? I mean, if you're working with us, all of our agents are straight shooters, but it never hurts to have that experience to back up the advice you're getting, i.e., hey, I know I want to buy an apartment in the city. I'm not ready to do it yet. Start looking now. Subscribe to our site. We do a lot of nice mailers in terms of, hey, if you're looking at the city, then you might want to look at these last properties that we've listed. Same thing with Encuentra 24 and Compra Alquile, which are our 2 main listing platforms. That's where probably 90% of the properties are listed. There's some other agencies that say, oh, we have hundreds of unlisted properties. They're probably unlisted for a reason, and it's probably not because they're super duper cheap, but whatever. Point is, number one, get familiar with the market even if you're not ready to buy yet. That way you can recognize a deal. Number 2, when you are ready to pull the trigger, start here and go like this. Narrow down, right? I want something on Balboa Avenue. Great. Good first step. I want it in a newer building and I got to have a pool. Awesome. Now we're getting like this. I want to be as close to Multicentro as possible. Perfect. So now we got 3 buildings and I only have 300,000. Okay. That means you got 2 buildings to choose from. All right, cool. So let's go look at those buildings. Let's get a sense of what I can buy so I can just start narrowing down floor plans. All right, that floor plan doesn't work. So now we're down to 2 buildings, 2 different floor plans. That's when you get your agent to start knocking on doors, or you start knocking on doors yourself. If you really want to go there, by all means. So you go find the building administrator. You go find the watchman, which is the security guard. Hey, is anything for sale? You can even look at the rentals to see if there are any rental clients who would sell. We've had that happen a lot. Same thing on the other side. If you see properties for sale, might be for rent, vice versa. So you do that. So you're already familiar with pricing. You're already familiar with the model you want. Availability, okay, great. Now you find an awesome deal. How do you know it's an awesome deal? Well, again, you can check the comps. Hopefully you've been looking at stuff for a while. Nothing wrong with comparing it to brand new. Pre-construction pricing is fairly transparent in that developers generally send over their price lists, and depending on the developer, they're either not very negotiable or extremely negotiable. That's where some agent expertise comes in handy. Hey, William, thank you for questions. It's nice to not just be a talking head. If you buy an apartment in a nice building, what's the typical cost? Hey, great question. Thank you. So typically it's going to be anywhere from $1 to $3 a meter, which is about 8 cents to 25 cents a square foot. And of course, that's going to depend on your amenities. For buildings that don't have swimming pools, that is going to be closer to the $1 to $1.50 range. So in that example, 100-meter apartment, 2 bedrooms, Balboa Avenue, newer, with a pool, with a gym, with security, with 2 elevators, you can expect to pay for that 100-meter unit probably around $220 a month. Now, that might seem low, and depending on where you're coming from, that might seem low, but the thing about building administrations here is they don't keep a big reserve. So unlike in the States where you're not coming out of pocket, say, to paint the building, here you will. So every 4 years, you'll have a nice little message underneath your door or in your inbox saying, hey, guess what? Special assessment. So for the next 7 months, you'll be paying an extra $700 so we can paint our building. And that's where buying in a good building really pays off. And it might seem obvious, but when you hook up with a good developer, you're not going to be redoing your social area every 5 years. You're not going to be having to replace an elevator after 10 years. I've seen them both, and they are not cheap. And that affects resale value, and of course that affects your yield because you're coming out of pocket and you're not necessarily able to pay your rent more, or I should say your tenant doesn't pay more. Anyway, so good question. Thank you for questions. Let's see. So yeah, I mean that's kind of the blueprint for finding a good deal, and then you've got to negotiate hard. We teach our guys, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. Everybody on the team has read Never Split the Difference, which I think is one of the most practical business books you'll ever find by a guy named Chris Voss. Talks about building tactical empathy, and just the point is that you see, I see Matt Marks. Matthew Marks, you're supposed to be on vacation. Matt Marks is responsible for quite a few of those deals I just told you about. How often do you see special assessments? Yeah, man. I mean, it does depend on the building. I would say I'm in a building that's 12 years old, and we do get the occasional special assessment to redo the social area because it was 12 years old and needed to get retiled the pool, paint the building. So I would say every kind of 2 to 3 years, expect something. Whether that's an extra $50 a month. They usually space it out, which is nice. I mean, you can of course just pay a lump sum, but they'll space it out for folks. So what else? So yeah, finding a good deal, negotiate a good deal, get terms to your advantage. Developer finance is out there. We did a whole show on developer finance last week. Thank you, Matt Marks. It's in the archives. Seller financing is also out there, which is sort of lease to own or just straight up purchase, move in, and pay as if it was a mortgage. But yeah, guys, I mean, golly, 15 minutes already. Unless anybody has any other questions, let me just scroll down. Oh, we do. Chris, could you speak about the rental market for 2 and 3 bedrooms on Balboa Avenue? Yeah, thanks for your question. So, rental market, I mean, there are definitely options available for rent. Balboa Avenue is a fantastic place, very popular with expats. There are some good buildings, depending on what you're looking for. 3 bedrooms, your choices are actually a little bit more narrow than 2 bedrooms. So 3 bedrooms, in most cases, you're going to be looking at, well, in a few cases, you're going to be looking at older buildings, like the Miramar. We love the Miramar. Big, spacious floor plans, looking right at the ocean. Older building, but very well maintained. That building's actually connected with the Intercontinental Hotel. So for a little bit more, you can join their gym. You can use the hotel pool, which is incredible. I mean, probably 40 meters long if you're a lap swimmer. So they're out there. They're available. Generally, furnished apartments run about a 10% premium. So, $2,000 a month unfurnished, $2,200 a month furnished. What can you expect to pay? Well, 2 bedroom, golly, I mean, furnished, $1,300 for like a pretty good size, we'll call it a 100-meter apartment, furnished in a good building. Unfurnished, like I said, that Allure, we just rented out. We've done deals under $1,000 a month, which is just like, whoa, who would have expected it? But sure enough, so there's deals to be had right now on rental apartments and a great selection. It really just depends on what you're looking for. If you want to be able to walk to all the restaurants on Calle Uruguay, you could be looking at a building like Grand Bay or Bayfront. Those are burned buildings, older but very nice, rooftop pools, cute little apartments, anywhere from 100 to, like 90 to 120 meters, which is like 1,000 square feet up to about 1,300 square feet. So yeah, hopefully that answered your question. Supply is plentiful. That's why rents have come down. That said, our Allure, I think, sat on the market for about 60 days, which is about 45 days longer than we're used to. Usually we're able to get those rented out pretty quickly, but, global pandemic and all. We're getting a lot of people coming in, though. I think it's going to be a good fourth quarter for Panama and a good fourth quarter for Panama Equity. So, yeah, you're welcome, Chris. Thanks for your question. Guys, unless anybody has any other questions, appreciate you tuning in. And yeah, we'll be back next week. Make sure you like, subscribe. Check us out on YouTube also. We got that YouTube channel set up. And next week, the one and only Ted Tennis, who runs Pedesee. He's like the vice mayor out there. He's been with us for, 8 years. And he knows the area. We're going to be talking about Playa Venao next week. So if you're thinking it's time to get to the beach, well, tune in next week. He'll be shooting live from his office, but we'll be talking beach. Playa Venao is a special spot. So without further ado, I'm going to sign off. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.